So the plan is to bring a little bit of national notoriety to some local towns. And if you're not aware, bringing national publicity is something I have a bit of expertise in. It's what I do. The New York Times, Time Magazine, Forbes, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, Huffington Post, Ripley's Believe It or Not. Who am I missing? I brought all of those to a town of 125 people. This is Goldfield, Nevada. You can look it up on any one of those publications and read about that extremely tiny town. So yeah, I know a thing about what the national press would like to see in a town of Easter bunnies. Why would the national media want to look at Easter bunnies? Well, look at what we're doing in a place like this. Well, yeah, in a town like this. Look at the fog. Isn't it amazing? How about that fog? It's unbelievable. Why would they do that though? Why would the media want to come to Dalton, Ohio? Well, because we're part of something. We're part of something substantial. This year we're starting something that will never end. I just see how this is going to continue forever. NadaDada Motel is the 3rd week of June. That's the only thing we agree on. Otherwise, you don't have to agree on anything, but we do it on the same weekend. There are other events that happen like this. There's a yard sale that's kind of self-initiated. I don't know who started that, but I'm so in love with the idea that there's a garage sale that goes from, what, Michigan, Ohio, all the way down to Alabama,
okay, now,
I think it is.
Place you
Not
won't
kidding. That's a one-weekend event that everyone.
But these are a
just
motel.
agrees on the
These
date.
are a classic motel.
What it brings them.
I'm in a town
Look what it
called,
brings
I
to
think
their
it's called
town.
Massillon.
Otherwise,
I think it's called
you know,
Massillon.
and you can't do
the
much
town.
with a one
I'm
stop
probably
like town.
butchering the name of it.
As far as national happens to be something publicity, kind of in tune with. I know a thing or two about what Time Magazine wants to see in Dalton, Ohio. And guess what? It's exactly what's here right now. They want to see families. They want to see a mother with her little baby, and they're looking at some crazy art. Maybe there's some weird art that is avant-garde, and here it is in this tiny town. You see the photo opportunity there? Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's total traditional, church-oriented something or other, Jesus in a manger kind of art. And then you've got these punk rock people who appreciate art. And that's the thing about artists and insanely cool. The mix is in Reno. I had a gallery. One of our shows that got a ton of notoriety, a ton of publicity, was a show called Exposed. Now my gallery was 3 dudes, okay? 3 beer drinking dudes. You know, we'd hang out in the gallery till 3 or 4 in the morning, setting up art shows, drinking beer, having fun, and we were not the only game in town. So there was another gallery called River Gallery. Now I happened to work over there at River Gallery. Now this was a couple ladies with a whole beautiful, homey mindset, maybe more family oriented. Well, there was an idea, because Reno, well, Nevada, prostitution's legal. I know it's a crazy thing, but it's true. Well, what we did was get strippers and prostitutes together. This was the idea of the ladies, and the fellas, the beer drinking fellas, were like, hell yeah, we'll host that show over at our gallery. Well, you know what happened was we got tons of publicity, but I'm telling you, the coolest thing in my mind was that there was no problem. It wasn't like a bar fight. There was no aggression or anything like that. The mix of people, though, I just couldn't believe how cool it was, you know. You'll see, you know, almost lingerie wearing ladies who were the models for the artists. That's what it was. The adult workers were models for artists. So they got together and modeled. The artists would paint the girls. But yeah, let's see what we can do. You know, people traveling between cities to look at art shows. It'll be a thing. It'll be a thing. Now, what's the first year going to be like? First year might not be what I've promised, which is 22,000 artists. I smile and I laugh when I say that because it sounds hysterical. But here's the thing. Did you see that video where I did the math? I'll just tell you what the math is. 17 states. What I said was 50 motels. Each motel has 25 rooms. That's 21,500 rooms filled with artists. So my numbers are extremely conservative, is what I'm saying. 50 motels in a state. Get out of here. It's way more than that. So there you go. We have a huge amount of potential. The other thing is, it doesn't have to be in a motel. It doesn't. So just so you know, I just did a video on that. If it's a big space, let's say an empty storefront or something, feel free, you know, see what you can do with that. Wow, this lighting's pretty awesome. Happy Easter. I was born on Easter. I'm an Easter bunny. NadaDada. NadaDada Motel. It's all that it's cracked up to be. Listen, do me the favor. Why don't you look up old publicity? Look up all the articles. What I've mentioned to you, those were articles about a project that I did. That was the International Car Force at the Last Church. That's in Goldfield, Nevada. Feel free to look up articles about that. I'd love you guys to read about what I did down there in Goldfield. I was actually the Chamber of Commerce president when I lived there. That didn't go so well. They kind of freaked out. Chamber president of a small town is an interesting situation. The fact is, the town didn't have a mayor. Goldfield. So yeah, we did things a little different there. But look up the media for NadaDada Motel. You'll find a New York Times article from June 22nd of 2009. If you want to do a search for the article, look for shag carpet, Reno, NadaDada. You'll find the article. It had shag carpet in the title. I don't remember exactly what the title was, but I remember it had shag carpet. And you'll see a photo of me, plenty of other people. They took 10,000 photos that day. 10,000. She interviewed, the New York Times reporter interviewed 100 people, including the janitor of the motel. These are professionals. They interview everyone. So you want to have some media for your town? Get involved. I cannot visit every Chamber of Commerce president. I can't visit every art center president. I can't go into every gallery. I can't meet all the artists. And unfortunately, I can't even go into the motels and talk to them because you have to do that. The artists are going to have to do that. That's because it's your town. It's your town. It's your local environment. And the whole point is that the locals are sort of standing up and saying, hey, here we are. There's all kinds of artists. Don't get too too concerned about the kind of art that you do. The beautiful thing is you don't have to worry about it. Let's say you paint little bunnies. What's my thing with bunnies today? Let's say you paint cute little country pickup trucks. That's great. You paint your little country pickup trucks. Maybe the avant-garde artist that lives over here, you and he don't really have anything in common as far as your art, but that doesn't matter even slightly. It doesn't get in the way slightly. That's the whole beauty of it, frankly. All these artists who do totally different things actually get together. We can show the world how you can disagree, and it's not an issue even slightly. Disagreement is not an issue. Disagreement's not a problem. You do things one way, I do things another way. Who cares? Who cares? That's the point right there. That's the point. The best combinations sometimes are opposites. I mean, we all know this, right? Opposites attract. There's a reason for that. Because you don't do what I do. What you do is not what I do. That's why it's beautiful. That's why it's beautiful. If we do the same thing, then we might be stepping on each other just a little bit. You know, you can still collaborate together, but it's actually not necessary that we agree at all. I just keep talking about the fact that there's no need for agreement. So, NadaDada Motel started 17 years ago in Reno. We started with 6 artists. We quickly grew to 400. Actually, it wasn't that quick, to be honest. It took us 10 years, but after 10 years' time, 400 creatives had been involved. I've made lists. Bands, poets, all kinds of performers, of course, visual artists, that's painters, sculptors, etc. Everything, anything you can think of is up for grabs, it's open, and your town might be featured front and center. In fact, what if it's not art? What if it's a display of historical items that were once owned by President McKinley? Great. What is art? It doesn't matter. Think about museums. The subject of museums. Is it always art? No. Hell no, not at all.
You can do this, you
Artifacts.
guys. I know you think it's a crazy thing, but not
all kinds of different items that might be of interest to the public. So, yeah, keep it in mind, NadaDada Motel. At this point, everyone's getting rooms. Everyone's just talking to the motels. Go in there, let them know the story. Each town should probably want to have a meeting amongst the artists. You can do that anywhere. You can do that in the park. You can do it in your basement. It doesn't matter. Do it down at a shop. But again, the local shops, you know, keep these people in mind. If you're not a shop owner, maybe you're an artist, think about what you're doing. What you're doing is partnering with local shops. You're partnering with them. You are serving the public for a change. Artists serving the public is what we are, as opposed to the other way around, which is always artists with their hands out. Where's my money? Where's my money? You know, give me a grant. I'm so good for the community. No, screw that. Why don't you literally help the community this time and ask for nothing in return? You pay for your room. You can pay for a room, right? You can pay for a motel room. You can afford it. Good. Pay for a motel room. Bring publicity to your tiny town of Dalton, Ohio, or wherever you live. It's a beautiful thing. It is. I'm looking at the fog rising. Can't believe it. Welcome to Dalton, Ohio. That's all I have to say about that.